All right. It's 1:30, y'all. I love doing these Facebook Lives. I love doing these Facebook Lives. It's a great way for me to record and keep content relevant, and it's also great for training. So I'm a little bit dazzled here in Byrne Real Estate Group stuff. I hope you guys don't mind. This is my work suit. Let me, what I'm going to do is go through a series of slides that I've put together that are statistics on what's going on in Austin, probably what to expect through the rest of the year, and then probably some pretty easy things to predict into the spring. And if you're buying or selling real estate, it's super informative and it's simple. And I also think there's some light at the end of the tunnel. It may not be in the form of interest rates, though. Maybe a little bit, but maybe not quite what everybody's hoping. But I'm going to give you some more facts other than hope, and the president rattling everybody's cages around the Fed about the interest rates. So let me get this shared. I'll make sure that you can see it. Yeah. Okay. So what's cool about this is you're going to see is it right here. So we started in 2000. Okay. This is the price. And if you were to take the governments, they want 4 to 5% of growth of price appreciation. That's a sustainable real estate market where most of the citizens that have good jobs, good credit can buy a house, right? They can get the American dream. They have access to the American dream. Okay. And this is where they want the prices. You'll see just at the end of 2024, the beginning of 2025, that we actually touched on the target price range that they want for the average house, the median house in Austin. Okay. But you can see what happened in COVID and all all the speculation, the investment and everything that went on. And this is why they started raising the mortgage interest rates, because too many people were buying homes, and then they weren't occupying them, by the way. But they were buying homes, speculating on real estate values and trends, fear of missing out. They couldn't wait to get into it because they wanted to leverage and make a bunch of money without a lot of risk. Well, it ends up being super risky because look what happened. The government said, no, no, no. We got to get prices back in line so that our average American can buy a house. Okay. And I know people are going to have some funny comments about average Americans buying homes in Austin, but this is generally what the goal of the government has been, is to get this price back in line with where they need to be. They're doing it. Whether you agree or disagree with the policy, it's working. All right. And it's working, which is good news, which means that this is the median price, right? So half of them are higher, half of them are lower, half of them are higher. Okay. So what's good is that by this working, that means we should start to see some relief in interest rates. And you can see right here, when demand started going crazy, they're like, oh, we got to fix this. We got to slow down the cost of money, like borrowing money. And we got to keep it here until our price gets to where it needs to be, generally right here, right? So this is what we're fighting. What I like here, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're almost there. So that's good news. Now, I'll show you a common question that we have right now is there's a couple of things. Man, I really did just spill coffee. This is pretty amazing. I'm 50 and I'm dealing with this stuff, right? So what's really cool about this is that you can see like inventory in 2023. We've been through this a lot, and you can see seasonally it adjusts down, right? We've talked about this quite a bit. It adjusts down almost to nothing. Everybody gives up. They quit. They're tired of the real estate market. They're tired of their home not selling because it's, bad condition or overpriced or whatever the reason is. Okay. Then all of a sudden, everybody jumped back in it again in 2024, and it went way up, and then they started losing hope again, right? Or they just wanted to take a break, or a lot of them sold. Okay. Then this year, it went bananas. I mean, it's bananas. I've never seen it this high before in my life. Okay. And what's interesting about this, I think, is, and I'll have these slides available for y'all also. Anybody that wants them, just let me know. We're here right now as we're entering into the spring, the pre-holiday rush, the fall market, the second market. This is actually when buyers and sellers generally make the most deals. I'm going to show you in a minute some interesting information that in the beginning, more than half the homes sell in the second half of the year, which is contrary to what everybody thinks. Okay. More than half of the homes close in the second half of the year. All right. Just think about that. So when you're trying to talk about timing the market, I'm going to show you something in a minute that's going to demystify that a little bit also. All right. So we're right here. So right now is a good time. If you're selling, okay, this is a good time to do it because you have less competition, right? Less people are putting it on the market, and you're on the market, and there's less competition and less people are putting the homes on the market, and buyers understand that, right? If you're buying, right, what are you dealing with here? You're dealing with maybe a fatigued seller, or you're dealing with a seller who's like, I'm tired of waiting. I just want to get it done. But we've seen in this range, this is historically the time period when buyers and sellers agree on more often. Does that make sense? Let me show you some statistics to back that up. Okay, this one's fun. I know you can't read it. Just trust me and I'll send it to you. This right here shows the first 2 quarters of the year, what the percentage of homes that close are in the first half of the year is just under 50%. It's just over 50% right here. And so these squiggly lines are buyer activity. That's the number of homes that are under contract. And I think it's a rolling 7-day number. No, for the last 7 days, how many homes went under contract? Okay. So what you have is, and these are the weeks of the year. So you've got, spring, summer, fall, winter. Okay. And you'll see in the buyer activity, the number of contracts spikes in the beginning. That's real, right? Mid-February or mid-May, that's when most of the sellers hit the market. That's when most of the buyers prepare to enter the market. Okay. The smart people, I think, are the people that do it in the fall when serious buyers are out there, not the speculators, people changing their mind and competing against other sellers. Like right now, if you're trying to sell, you're competing, like what you just saw, you're competing against a whole lot of other people on the market, okay, in the springtime. Springtime's still a good time. That's when most of the buyers are out there, but you have a lot more competition if you're a seller. Consequently, if you're a buyer, you have a lot more competition with buyers to fight over the good properties, okay? Because we can all agree that there are some good properties and some not so good properties on the market. All right. I'm going to figure this camera situation out next week, I promise. Okay. So here we are again. We're right in the middle. You can see buyers start to fade out. You start to see buyers fade out. And right now we're dealing with interest rates that are getting to be a little bit more reasonable. But we know that there's a pop coming up. You can see there's a trend right there. There's a trend right there of when homes sell, right? So sellers, start getting your homes ready if you want to get this over with. If you want to get your home sold. And also we have buyers that are in the market right now. We have a bunch of them, by the way, that are in the market right now looking around. Okay. So, and then you get ready for the pre-holiday rush and boom. And then it goes, looks like definitely quiet there, right between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then it picks up again and then New Year falls off and then it starts right back over. It literally starts on January 1st. It gets going again. But the point of this is I wanted you to know is that a little over 50% of the homes sell in the second half of the year in Austin. Can you believe that? It's amazing, right? In fact, 23% of them in the fourth quarter, 28% in the third quarter, 29% in the second quarter, and only 20%, only a fifth of them closed in the first quarter. January, again, because think about it, Thanksgiving to December, it's pretty quiet. That's 30 days in. All right. So we've got a nice little run coming of activity for the end of the year. So get ready. If you're not getting your sellers ready and your buyers ready, if your buyers aren't already out shopping, they're probably going to miss out on some deals. This is when sellers and buyers make the best. They agree to the most terms that are beneficial for both sides. Okay. It's a lot easier to overpay as a buyer here if the seller has done an amazing job on the house, right? The buyers want easy right now. And there's really not that many of them that are out there. Let's take a look at something else. This is probably the last slide for just now. But I want to give a nod to my team. That might be the only people on here. Thank y'all. We're using these slides to help sellers and buyers understand what's going on in the market right now. So hopefully this has been really helpful and you're getting some good information out of it. Here's the Austin buyer activity. I think this is a special slide, but there's also a lot of information on it. But the key is to know as a seller, you have a chance to sell. You have a pretty good chance of selling your house. In fact, you have a really big chance of selling your house right now, same as it is in end of February, into March. Okay. And then again, you have it right here where it's the same. Look at that. I mean, it's the same level as it is in the middle of the spring market. Okay. So it's the same timing. Like you have the same benefits. You really have it like 3 times in a year. And 2 of them are in the second half of the year, right? How about that? I don't find you that until I looked at this. Okay. This is fun. A Google search term, Austin homes. I misspelled Austin. That's pretty amazing. This is for the last 5 years. You can see that, obviously it just got crazy in COVID. It was actually crazy before that too, just so you know. I have a theory on that, but it's weird. And then you can see the trend started going way down and we're starting to see an increase. There's a small trend increase right here, okay, in Austin homes. It's good news. And here's the last 90 days. We saw some pretty strange, right when school started, there was some weird, it looks like it's flattened out a little bit, but like interest totally dropped off and then now it's picked up again. So it's pretty interesting. But we're just kind of staying right here in the middle. I have these reversed. Unbelievable. So this is the last 90 days. This is the last 5 years. So I'll fix that before I send that out. Thankfully, this isn't on live video. Okay. So That's it. If you guys have any questions that you want to drop in here, let me know. I'm sorry for the total cluster of a presentation. I'll get that fixed. Next week will be significantly better. I appreciate y'all jumping in here. This is the new graph that I'll send out to the team that's branded, that talks about, if buyers are thinking about waiting for more deals, we're probably at the end of the line for the significant price reductions. Okay. We're probably at the end of the line of that, or we're getting pretty close to it. So when they talk about timing the market and buying at the bottom, it's supporting data that says we're probably there or pretty close to it. So love you guys. Thank you for your patience. This will continue to improve. You guys are amazing. We'll talk soon.